Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another Q&A video. I asked you guys on YouTube to drop a bunch of questions, and that's exactly what you guys did. So, without further ado, let's dive into these questions related to Pokemon stuff and some non-Pokemon related stuff. The first question comes in from Chip the Fry. They ask, I play a lot of Chien-Pao EX. I was wondering what your thoughts are on the deck. I gotta say, Chien-Pao is a very, very good deck. I love the different lines of play that you can use it for, whether it be with Chien-Pao for the big one-hit KOs, or whether it be with Greninja for sniping two Pokemon at the same time, or Iron Hands being able to take two prizes or an extra prize card when normally you wouldn't usually be able to. I'd say Chien-Pao Excalibur is probably in the top 3 decks of the game right now in my opinion. It has a very fair matchup going into Charizard. Some would say it's favored, some would say it's 50-50, just depends on who you ask. But if you are playing Chien-Pao, Charizard is not a deck that you are going to fear, which is a really nice feeling to have, or feeling not to have, because you guys know how strong and how relevant Charizard is right now in the current meta. Chien-Pao is really popular in Toronto. There's a lot of top players who play it. I also have one friend, Sergio, who's been maining Chien-Pao for pretty much the last year, ever since it's come out in Paldea Evolved, and he's been on an absolute tear with it. In fact, Kieran Farah actually just released a brand new video on his YouTube channel going over Chien-Pao. It's sort of like a masterclass, long form, hour-long video. So I would recommend you guys check out his video on Chien-Pao if you want to learn and pick up the deck. I want to play Chien-Pao eventually, but right now I'm kind of stuck in my old ways, playing other decks like Miraidon, like Espathra, like Blastoise. I've been having a lot of fun playing some other decks. I'll eventually learn Chien-Pao. It's one of those decks too that requires a lot of practice. There's a lot of sequencing involved with it, and if you sequence things just a slightly bit wrong, it can cost you the game. And so me picking up a deck with such a high skill ceiling, I don't think I would feel very comfortable playing it at a regional or like a large tournament. So I go for decks I have a better understanding of, that I can play basically a lot better and make less misplays compared to playing something like Chien-Pao. And especially when it comes to the mirror matches, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of Chien-Pao mirror matches I'd have to eventually face. And if the player's been playing Chien-Pao a lot longer than me, which you probably have been if you are, I'll probably get skill diffed in the mirror. But yeah, I think Chien-Pao is a really strong deck. I would highly recommend it if you enjoy playing Iron Hands, enjoy playing Radiant Greninja, or like water Pokemon. It's very, very good. Next question comes in from Jeddo Defunct 8. Are there any other games you are into? Could be video games or other TCGs. Also, bro, you're like the most photogenic PTCG player I've ever seen, Lamau. Hey, thanks, Jeddo. Appreciate the love, the kind words. So, other games I'm into. Well, in terms of trading card games, it is just Pokemon. I did dabble into the Digimon trading card game in the last couple of years, but wasn't too crazy about it, and I did know it would basically eat away at my time of playing Pokemon, and I really just wanted to get much better at Pokemon, and I enjoy playing Pokemon much more, and I enjoy making Pokemon content. So I figured if I were to divide my time between card games, the Pokemon side of things would slack, and whatever it is would also kind of be lacking or slacking. So we just went all in for Pokemon for our trading card game fix. And in terms of video games, I'm a big video game fanatic. These days, I spend most of my time playing video games like Apex Legends and Overwatch 2. Those are my 2 main games I've been playing. I don't really play any other video games besides that and Pokemon trading card game on my phone or on my computer. And if you're curious who I main in Apex, I'm pretty much like a flex character or a flex player in Apex, but I really enjoy playing Crypto a lot, Bloodhound, Lifeline, Watson, and Pathfinder. Those are the big ones, but I have like 5,000 hours on Apex. And then in Overwatch, I'm a big support main, so I really enjoy playing Ana, Mercy, Zen, Moira, those 4, and Ana is number 1 for me in my opinion, or my favorite out of all 4 of them. When I play tank, I play Reinhardt, sometimes Zarya. When I play DPS, it's usually Soldier, McCree, Reaper, Widowmaker, sometimes Torbjorn from time to time. But yeah, those are the video games I've currently played the most in the last 5 to 10 years. Next question comes in from Fanboy9472. It is top 3 pairs of shoes I still own. Great question. I'm actually wearing shoes as I film this, yeah, my top 3 shoes that I still own would have to be these right here. I love these Nike SB Gundam collaborations. I wore these pretty much most of my trip in Japan, my most recent trip. So if you guys end up watching those vlogs, you'll see these on my feet a lot. I also love my Air Jordan 1 Chicago's. These are disgustingly dirty. The light is shining on it pretty bright, so it might be hiding some of the dirt, but yeah, it is very dirty. I wear them a lot. These are beaters. You can tell by the heel drag on the bottom of the shoe. These get a lot of love. And then I really love my my Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Zebras, but they're away in a box and I don't want to grab them and show them to you guys. So we're just gonna go with, I guess, the third pick here are the Nike Off-White Blazers. These are so nice. I love these shoes. I got these from a raffle win, and yeah, I love these. So yeah, those are the top 3 I still currently own, I'd have to say. Mr. Scotty B Collects asks, would you ever consider making vids about analyzing certain decks and use or tips for deck building? Yeah, I have done it. I've considered it again and again for future videos. But yeah, the most recent one was for Alakazam EX. The next one I will be doing will be for Miraidon EX in the updated format that we're in right now. And in terms for tips for deck building, I try and give them like every single Q&A video. I kind of sound like a broken record at this point, so I won't repeat any other crazy new tips other than try and make your deck as consistent as possible. Look at top performing lists that you guys find online, whether it's from Japanese or English tournaments, and play a whole bunch. And also ask your friends, because the more minds that you have, the more chefs you have in the kitchen cooking, the better your list will be. Quicker, you know. It takes, what's it, Rome wasn't built in a day, is that the term? Yeah, so just having multiple friends also working on the same list is really helpful too. Next question comes in from Jelano9905. Do you have plans of visiting the Philippines soon? Ooh, I miss the Philippines so much. It's been a long time since I was in the Philippines. I think since like 2019, before COVID hit everything, I was traveling a whole bunch. I was pretty sure I was in the Philippines in 2019. I don't have any plans to visit the Philippines anytime soon. I'd like to visit maybe this fall if all things work out the way I want them to. That'd be really nice. But yeah, no immediate plans to visit the Philippines. I do miss it though. I have a lot of family there, and I just love the Philippines. It's one of my favorite places in the world. Violet Genesis asks, when facing off against a deck you've never faced before for the first time, how do you go about making decisions in the game? What do you look out for? Ooh, that is a very great question, I want to say. Typically, I don't really face off against decks for the very first time IRL. Usually it's going to be online, but every now and then, you know, you come across something really spicy. Maybe it's a friend playing Incineroar EX. Maybe it's a friend playing some weird Zorobox decks without the Zoroark in it. Typically, you want to try and figure out what is their win condition of the game, how are they going to take their prizes, and then how can you stop them from doing that, and then also what kind of game plan does your deck have that you can utilize to accelerate your prize race. Maybe you're playing Miraidon, so I know my typical lines of actions is I either take a big 2-prize knockout off of 2-prize Pokemon using my own 2-prize Pokemon, or I'm using Iron Hands to try and take 2 prizes off of single-prize Pokemon, or I could be using my Luxray to consistently decimate their hand of useful resources and slowly chip at them away, and then maybe line up my a big KO for like Ampy very much with the Pokemon that's been weakened previously. So you want to think about your overall game plan and how you go about taking your prizes usually, how they go about taking their prizes usually, and go from there. If you are, of course, playing against a deck for the first time, you're going to always want to read every single card that's new that comes your way. It's similar to how when people play against me and they see like Ampharos EX for the first time, and they're like, what the heck is this? Can I read this? Yes, you can absolutely read it because it's going to be pretty important at some point in the game. So try and be careful with each of the plays you make. Maybe you might make a misplay you might not normally make, and then your opponent can capitalize on that. It kind of also goes for when you play against players that have rare, particular like tech cards in their deck to sort of counter you. Some people might not know what Luxray does, so you might be able to benefit from that. Some people might not know what Espathra EX does, and so they might attach their energies to the wrong Pokemon, not allowing them to attack because they forgot or they didn't realize they needed an extra energy on their active to attack. So just be very thorough when it comes to reading the cards on the board, and keep in mind both of the game plans that you and your opponent are going to have throughout the match. Next question comes in from eDude Live. It is, how is it like playing in Toronto? And I gotta say, playing in Toronto is fantastic. If you love playing the Pokemon trading card game, there are so many stores you have access to. I've done like scheduling on my notes app and stuff, and there's times where you can like literally go to a different weekly Pokemon card tournament every single day in Toronto, or at least in the greater Toronto area. There's always Pokemon happening at some store, but on top of that, there is also a lot of top tier players. The greater Toronto area, or just Toronto in general, has some of the most like concentrated amount of players of the highest caliber playing in them. So if you go to like a League Cup, for example, there's a good chance you're gonna see at least like 2 to 3 regional champs there, or like a top player just in general. Like no tournaments are really super easy in Toronto. Some people like to talk about how easy it is to max out your cups and your challenges finishes by just getting first, like 6 times for cups, first, 6 times for challenges, but they're in an easier area. It is so hard. I didn't get my first ever League Cup win until this season. But this is the first season I've really started taking Pokemon more seriously. But in order for me to win my first ever League Cup, in the top 8 cut, I actually had to beat the previous, or like the last season's rank 1 player in Canada, just to make it past top 8. Then getting into top 4 was another veteran in the game who's been playing for I think almost like 10 years now. So there's a lot of cracked players here, but it also is really great if you are a student, like you know what I mean, a student of the game who wants to learn and improve and get better and better. And with tough competition, it just forces you to get better. And so I'm definitely not the player I am today without all this steep competition I've had to face week after week after week. So it definitely accelerates your growth as a player, but it also can be very discouraging at times too, if you just lose too much. Luckily, different stores have different skill levels of players, and it's Pokemon after all. Just because someone is really good at the game or they have a lot of experience and accolades doesn't make them untouchable. It doesn't make them unbeatable. Every game of Pokemon, there's going to be a winner, and there's a chance that it could be you. It just could come down to a little bit of luck. It could come down to how the matchup is, like in terms of if anyone's favored for like weakness or the style of the decks, stuff like that. But yeah, that's how it's like playing in Toronto. And of course, attending a lot of events is pretty expensive, so I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of my competitive season, Comfy Hobbies. If you guys want to buy any Pokemon cards at all, whether it be for collecting or for playing, check out Comfy Hobbies. Use code SneakerTalk for 5% off, either in-store or online. They are my sponsor for the channel, or for my competitive season, you could say. So I love them. Shout out to Comfy. Chef Foxy asks, do you plan on doing more streams? Also loving the vlogs. As someone who wants to try attending locals, the vlogs make me feel more comfortable and familiar with it before I go, and are helping me build up the courage. Hey, that's awesome to hear, Chef Foxy. Do I plan to do more streams? Absolutely. It's something I really want to do more of in the future. Ideally, I want to do 1 to 2 streams per week. But that'll probably really kick off during the summer once the main competitive season is over. We have about 6 weeks left of this competitive season, with the last official tournament being the North American International Championships in the first week of June. And then once that's done, I'll be able to have a lot more time to stream because I'll be attending a lot less in-person events. And as far as your other question goes, or just mentioning vlogs, yeah, I love hearing that people love watching my vlogs. It's the one thing that everyone seems to want to see more of the most on this channel, so you guys can expect a lot more from me going forward. So if you like the vlogs, always hit the like button. It really helps me out a ton, and it encourages me to put out more vlogs. But yeah, let's get to the next question. Angel Montoya 9692 asks, any tips to jump from casual to competitive? Like, use decks you like for locals but have a meta deck for challenges and cups, and how different is the mindset from casual to competitive? Really like your videos, keep it up. Thank you, Angel. I'd say if you're gonna like jump from more casual to competitive, I would definitely look at like the top 5 or top 10, but if I want to be really serious, I'd say the top 5 decks in the current meta, and try and pick one of those that really suit your playstyle, or maybe there's just particular Pokemon you like to use in your deck, then go for those decks. I think jumping from casual to competitive, the main thing is just being very understanding of the meta and what makes certain decks work and what makes certain decks not work, and why certain decks can be played while other decks can't be played. You can definitely have fun playing, you know, meta decks casually, but in terms of what you said, in terms of like going to regular leagues with like a fun deck and then maybe meta decks for league challenges and league cups, that's a really good idea too. Although I would recommend playing meta decks as your like regular weekly decks as well, because you're going to get that really valuable in real life practice. And playing online, I'm sure if you guys have made the jump or have done it in the past, or you know what I'm talking about. Playing online is very different from playing in person. It is very different. Sure, you're playing the same game, but there's a lot of different things that the game does online for you, which you do have to worry about when you are playing in real life. Like shuffling is instant. It's super fast in online, and you can really think things through with a timer physically there. You can see how things go down. You can see the match history of like the log of things that just took place, while in real life there could be nerves kicking in. You're not at your comfort space, your comfort zone. You maybe are more prone to making mistakes because I don't know, there's just a lot more variables. If you have ADHD or you're just easily distracted too, that's like another thing. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, it's different. Playing online and playing in person is very different. So if you can get more practice with your meta deck, your better deck, you could say, then I'd use that. And then that way you go into these cups and challenges, you're very comfortable playing this meta deck. But yeah, I'd say just the biggest thing from jumping from casual to competitive is casual. You're probably playing these rogue decks, these decks that are not highly optimized, that aren't really great, that aren't really able to take on the meta as a whole. And the big difference to jumping into competitive is you're just probably playing the meta decks, the decks that win more consistently, the decks that get to play games of Pokemon more and they don't break. Squirtle Squad PTCG asks, for winning a cup, what type of prizing do you get? My cups as a junior with 4 to 7 people is an ETB usually. So that's your first question. It really just depends on the tournament and how much of the how much was entry. There's no typical prizing, honestly. Prizing varies based off of how many players are also into the tournament. And if it's a cup, if it's a challenge, like some stores will have prizing for top 16, some stores will have prizing for top 8. But if you're winning first place at Masters, you're probably getting a couple $100 in prizing. In fourth place, I got top 4 at a cup recently. I believe entry was like $15. I got a prize pack for entry. And then for top 4, I got 50 Canadian dollars and 2 more prize packs. They offered 10 packs of Temporal Forces or $50. I was like, I'll just take the $50 because I don't really need to rip more packs of Temporal Forces right now. I'd rather just use the money to enter more tournaments for free, essentially. Just do well at one tournament and you can keep bankrolling your store credit and keep playing for free and keep raking in the winnings. What are my top 3 favorite Pokemon? My top 3 favorite Pokemon would have to be, let's say, Squirtle / Blastoise as number 1. It was always Blastoise, but now it's Squirtle. Number 2 would probably have to be Gengar. I'm a huge fan of Gengar. And then number 3, number 3 is tricky. Number 3, I'm gonna have to go with Miraidon. Your third question was, when will your Vancouver vlog be out? So excited. I am very excited for it to be out. However, it won't be out until the end of this week. And then the fourth thing you mentioned here was, I love your videos, hope to see more tournament vlogs. I got you, Squirtle Squad. Lots more vlogs coming soon. Just another game Dever asked me, do you think Greninja will overtake Charizard as best deck in format? Honestly, I don't think it's going to take over Charizard as best deck in format. I think it's going to be really strong and really good, but best deck in format is a big title, and I don't think it's going to be the best deck in the game. I could see a world where Greninja is maybe in the top 4 best decks, but Charizard is just amazing. It has so many things going for it. Yeah, the deck is just so good. It is the only, it's the first time we've had like a tier 0 deck in a while. The last one being Lugia during the Silver Tempest era with all of the amazing rare attackers. So yeah, I think it's going to be really strong, but not best deck in format. Kelly Edwards 421 asks, I know you've been a Miraidon fan, but what were you maining before that, and how/why did you become a Miraidon main? Alright, so before playing Miraidon, I was playing Zacian V pretty much all the time. I didn't really dabble into too many other decks other than Zacian. I played one random deck that Ian Robb won a regional with. I net decked that like 59 card list, and then I won a tournament the next day with it. I also played Galarian Weezing for a little bit, and yeah, not too many decks, honestly. I was pretty much maining Zacian or Zacian V-Star. Then your other question is, why did you become a Miraidon main? Well, I just really enjoyed its consistency. It felt really good not having to have VIP passes in my deck, being able to use Tandem Unit every game and kind of just like muscle memory your Pokemon onto the board, set it up really well. I was playing Miraidon when it was considered bad, good, meta, off meta. I've been through it all with Miraidon. I went on a really hot streak with Miraidon for about a month to 2 months where I was like getting top placements at almost every tournament I was going to, whether it's like top 8 or top 4 or second or first. With Miraidon, just playing the deck that much and doing that well, I was like, yeah, I love this deck. I'm just gonna keep playing it. I'm not gonna put it down. And then I just accidentally kind of became a Miraidon main. So yeah, and then Iron Hands came out, and then Life was extra good too. And then Charizard came out, and now Life is rough. And I got top 4 at a tournament this past weekend, and my only losses were to Charizards. So yeah, I hate Charizard, but hey, it's a necessary evil. If Charizard wasn't in the game right now, Miraidon could be the best deck maybe. JC the Man 123 asks, do you think they should bring back Mew from Celebrations? I don't think so. Mew from Celebrations was great. I really enjoyed it for the time we had it, which was like, what, 2 years or so for Celebrations? But yeah, I think its time is come and gone, and I'm fine with it being gone for now. So maybe one day it'll come back in some shape or form. But yeah, I don't think they should bring Mew back. Catherine MCT8226 asks, during current rotation, do you have a suggestion for good grass accelerator that does not involve blowing yourself up? I know what you're talking about. It's Fortress EX, and it is painful having to blow yourself up for some energy acceleration for grass. I have some new technology, some new way of thinking for grass type players, and that is using the Dunsparce engine in your decks along with Gardenia's Vigor. So the Dunsparce, the new one, allows you to draw 3 cards, and then the Dunsparce runs away into your deck. Ideally, now you have another Dunsparce on your deck, which has free retreat. So you promote your Dunsparce, and now you have your grass attackers on your bench, and Gardenia's Vigor is draw 3 cards and then attach 2 grass energies from your hand to your benched Pokemon. So this way you're able to guarantee you have grass Pokemon on the bench, and then you can use your Dunsparce to just retreat it back into your grass attacker, or you can even evolve that Dunsparce into the Dunsparce and use the Dunsparce's ability again, and then bring in your grass Pokemon. So try that. I'm gonna try that myself too. I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds really, really good. Channel member Sidion asks, could you give some tips / show how to shuffle your deck at tournaments? Okay, so I can't really show you how to shuffle. I don't have like a card cam to shuffle. I was misprepared for this video. But for tips, I would say before a tournament starts, or just like going into your round 1, randomize your deck by just doing a pile shuffle. Put out 6 piles, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that 10 times to guarantee you have all 60 cards in your deck. And then typically I just mass shuffle. I remember watching a YouTube video a long time ago. It might have been by Azul GG, where he talks about shuffling and randomization. And I believe it's like 7 to 8 mass shuffles is the perfect amount for like proper adequate randomization. Some people will riffle shuffle and stuff too. I don't think I'm gonna ever riffle shuffle because I love my cards too much and it really hurts them. But yeah, I just do like 7 to 10 mass shuffles, throw in a couple cuts in there every now and then, and you should be good. And then also after the games are done, I'll typically just shuffle my deck for like another 30 or so seconds just to keep shuffling it, keep it randomized a bit more. And just because you don't want any sort of like clumping issues, because of course sometimes when you do play, you'll organize your discard pile, and then you just put all the cards back together again. They're not going to be, you know, super randomized. So I just do some randomizing after the games as well, just to keep things really random. And then Sidion's second question is, what's the least awkward way to call a judge when you feel like it's necessary? Well, I have to call a judge every now and then, and I'm sure you guys have to too. I think the easiest thing to do is just say, hey, I'm sorry. I just want to be safe. I want to call a judge. Like, I just want to make sure we're good. I just want to be on the safe side. I want to call a judge. Or you can say something like, sorry, I hate to be that person, but I have to call for a judge for this. I try my best not to just like instantly yell, you know, as loud as you can, and then, you know, it kind of almost causes like a scene a little bit. And you don't want to like judge call and make it feel like a awkward tension kind of thing. So I'll usually say, hey, I just want to play it safe and run this by a judge real quick. So you just go hands up, judge, and then go from there. Cinnamon Roll asks, what Charizard deck list is your fave, and can you do more tournament vlogs? Yes, more tournament vlogs. I can promise you that right now. I got the pinky swear right there. And then my favorite Charizard list would probably be the Tord list, but also I believe Rowan Stavino recently put out a really good Charizard list, so here it is on screen. If you want to play a very strong Charizard list that was based off of one of the best Charizard lists that rank 1 in Canada for pretty much most of this season was using or is recommending, this is the list you want to use. It's really, really good. Check out this list, and also check out Rowan's channel if you want to get a full Charizard guide too. Booster Rooster asks, what is your favorite rogue deck that you would play to a regional right now? And that actually just happened. That just happened at the Orlando Regionals. I really wanted to play Espathra EX, however, I couldn't find the free retreat Flittles that I think the deck really needs. And so I played Blastoise EX instead, another rogue deck. So I'm no stranger to playing rogue decks, especially at regionals. I enjoy playing a nice rogue deck. Blastoise was a lot of fun, and I'm excited for you guys to see the Orlando vlog. But first up, we got to get the Vancouver vlog up first. Anish Sine 88 asks, I've seen lots of speculation but never factual answer. How do you get to play Pokemon t-shirts that people use on stream? Is it true that they give them to you to cover logo/brands on your clothing? Do you get to pick the color? So, in order to get one of those play Pokemon t-shirts that we're gonna wear on stream, you have to have a logo that is not approved or a design that is not approved by the Pokemon company at the venue. So when Pokemon gave me my t-shirt in Pittsburgh when I played on stream, it was just like a graphic t-shirt. It literally had like, it was like a photograph of a motorcycle driving in like underpass kind of thing, and they just wanted to be safe, so they were like, that's a big graphic, they're not sure what it could be associated to, so here's a shirt. I'm like, okay, cool. And so they asked me for my shirt size, and I said, you'll give me a large, it's probably gonna shrink too, so just give me a large. I'm usually a large for all my tops. And they gave me a large yellow shirt. They didn't let me pick the color, it just so happened to be yellow, which was perfect because I was playing Miraidon, a lightning type Pokemon. However, I heard rumors that sometimes you do actually get to pick the color of the shirt. It just depends on the inventory that they have there. Usually they don't have a ton of different colors for you to pick from, and the only reason they'll ever give you a shirt is because you have like a logo or a brand that's just like too big, or a jersey that was not approved by Pokemon. So like if I were to wear my Comfy Hobbies t-shirt or my Comfy Hobbies hoodie to the stream, they probably would make me take it out and put on a Pokemon shirt because Comfy Hobbies didn't get their jerseys approved for Pokemon going into this season. So if you see me on stream, hopefully I'm wearing something cool, or it's going to be a Play Pokemon t-shirt. And if you want to guarantee that you get a free Play Pokemon t-shirt, then perform really well at the regionals, wear a shirt with like a big logo on it or something. Pokemon is forced to give you a new shirt. That's a little life hack to get a free shirt. Marky Zard asks, thoughts on Coparaja EX with Metang or Meowscarada with Valiant EX? So Coparaja with Metang, that sounds really spicy. I really like that idea. I'm going to test that. It sounds really fun. And then Meowscarada with Valiant EX, ooh. That has some spice too, but I feel like that deck would only be like, it's tricky. It's tricky. I feel like that deck would have been so good with like cards like Escape Rope in the format. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Meowscarada Valiant. You know, I see the synergy there. I've seen the list with like it in a Lost Zone engine. I don't think that's the best way to play Meowscarada though. I feel like you'd have to use a different type of build, not with Iron Valiant EX. Tim Tom Limbaum asks, have you seen the new Pokemon Horizon series? No, I have not. And actually, I might consider watching it tonight. Kevgan Higa asks, do you want to win major tournaments or play just for fun? I actually really want to win major tournaments. It may not look like it by the decks I play sometimes, but I really want to win a major tournament. That's definitely one of my big goals for next season, or even this season right now. Just win a major, but I also do really enjoy playing for fun. I go to a lot of tournaments every single week, more than I'd like to admit to. If I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be doing as much tournaments as I do right now. The Legend of Tommy asks, are you excited for the Power Creep in the upcoming format? Oh, don't even get me started, man. I'm scared of the Power Dark Reap. I'm scared of this upcoming Greninja coming soon. That might be the death sentence for my Miraidon deck too. That might be the final nail in the coffin if we have Charizard and Greninja. I know we talked about this in a recent Q&A, so I won't get too much into it, but I'm excited to see what new cards come out. You know, if there's maybe a new way to counter Charizard, I am all for it. And maybe I end up playing Greninja as my main deck. Maybe that's the way I take care of Charizards. Ooh, but also, I'm a huge fan of the Luxray. Luxray EX coming out looks amazing. You might see me rocking the Luxray builds with Miraidon pretty soon too. Doc Hosk asks, what makes Blastoise EX so cool to you? I think it is really cool because you can do so much damage for a pretty cheap attack cost. You can do 280 for 2 waters. And it is such a tank of a Pokemon. It effectively has 360 HP. That's a lot to deal with. A lot of decks can struggle to one-shot that number, or they do struggle to one-shot that kind of that HP number. And yeah, it's just really fun. It's unexpected, and it's a decent deck. You know, it's not bad. It's at least average. It's at least a B tier deck. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Blastoise is like my favorite Pokemon, so that's what makes it so cool to me. And then we have one last question to wrap up the video. And of course, if you guys want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. You can click down below to watch more of the Q&A style videos. But this last one comes in from Look Who It Is 3467. Do you think that Miraidon has a chance to come back like Guardy did post-rotation on the future? If so, what type of cards do they need to add in order for it to make a comeback? Yeah, so Gardevoir is not necessarily dead. Gardevoir is still a good deck. It's still really strong. My friend Felix actually won the Manta League Cup this past Friday with Gardevoir. And the reason Gardevoir is still so good is because it has the main energy accelerator in the deck still, like Gardevoir EX. And of course, you have the whole Corellia refinement engine to help get you there. And they have a lot of really strong attackers like Screamtail and Drifloon and Mimikyu as well. They have all these cards. Lightning Pokemon, they really haven't given too much love in the most recent set. So I'm hoping that the new Luxray cards could be really strong, or just whatever new Lightning Pokemon. We really do need a new way to accelerate energies, because right now we just have electric generators, we have energy stickers, and there's also the Pawmot Pokemon as well that can basically like self-charge itself once per turn. So honestly, I think we just need a new way to accelerate energies onto the board, or to make up for that, just cheap lightning attackers that don't require too much energies, that are really good to kind of counter the meta. So like the new Luxray EX coming out, for example, looks basically like a stage 2 version of Luxray V, with very similar attack for the first one, and the second one's really good too, because if you slap on an item of some sort, you're swinging for 280 or more. So yeah, I think that could be a really good way for Miraidon to make a comeback.